Be it ever so humble. Say what you want about taking a vacation, but it's sure nice to be back home.
Yes, it was relaxing, not having anything to do for a whole week, wasn't it?
Not having a thing to do is all you can do when your vacation budget is $1 a day.
Look it, the guidebook's called How to See the California Coast on $1 a day.
And you went by the book all right.
Let's see, I got $3 left. Gee, Rochester, we traveled the coast on 57 cents a day. How about that?
And that's before you split the checks.
Splitting everything even, Stephen, was the proper thing to do. You know, Rochester, there are times I wish you'd be just a bit more proper.
Uh-huh. But those weren't any of those times.
$3 left. That just goes to show you, Rochester, whoever said you have to spend money to have a good time?
Not you.
Well, I think I'll unpack and wind down a bit.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yipes! Rochester, look!
I'm coming!
It's horrendous, appalling, sickening.
Oh, that picture of you got over your bed. Yep, the way those peepers follow you around the room sure is creepers.
Thank you. They said the same thing about the Mona Lisa to Da Vinci. But it's not that, Rochester. Take a look on the floor. It's smashed.
It sure is. What is it?
It's my Stradivarius violin.
Not anymore, it ain't.
Rochester, someone was in here while we were away, and whoever it was, they destroyed my violin. That's a $25,000 Stradivarius.
Uh-huh. Not anymore, it ain't.
Somebody's going to answer for this. Rochester, I want you to call everyone up and tell them to drop whatever they're doing and hurry over here right now.
Everyone?
Everyone.
Right now?
Right now! Use the phone in the den.
If you say so.
Oh, Rochester, you needn't be that proper. You don't have to shake my hand when you're leaving the room.
I got my hand out because I'm going to need a roll of nickels.
Hello, Don.
What's so urgent, Jack? I was in the middle of dinner.
Well, let me guess. You had roast beef and gravy with mushrooms and parsley, corn on the cob with butter, mashed potatoes with bacon crumbs and cranberry sauce. No, wait, make that ketchup, not cranberry.
Well, that's extraordinary. How did you know?
It's all over your shirt.
Did you notice the blueberry pie with vanilla ice cream?
No, I don't see it.
That's right. Next time, call after I have dessert.
Just take a seat, Don. I'm expecting others and you're blocking the door.
All right.
Sit on the couch if it fits you, suits you.
I knew I shouldn't have accepted the charges when Rochester called.
I didn't have any nickels. Oh, Mary. How long have you been standing out there behind Don?
What time did Don get here?
Oh, I'd say about a minute ago.
Then that's how long I've been standing out here.
Why didn't you say something?
I did. More than once.
I didn't hear a thing. It's difficult for sound to pass through large, dense objects like Don, you know. I learned that in my high school science class.
I remember my science class teacher, Mr. Friedman. Who did you have for a teacher, Jack? Galileo?
Cut that out. I'm sorry you were trapped outside like that, but you'll have to excuse Don. He packed on some extra molecules before he got here.
Good thing I threw an emergency kit in my purse before I left the house in the event I got stuck outdoors, huh?
You did?
No, I didn't. You really think I carry a compass, hatchet, and road flares around in my bag?
Silly me, of course not. At least I hope not the hatchet. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Because I'm not much of an outdoors type, am I? Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. No, you're not. Ha 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 ha.
Can you imagine? Little old me roughing it outside. Ha ha ha.
Not little old you. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. So then why am I still standing out here?
Oh, sorry. Come on in.
I was wondering how long you were going to take before inviting me in. So tell me, how was it? Did you boys enjoy your trip? Isn't the Pacific Coast so picturesque this time of year?
Oh, quiet, Mary. Stop poking your nose where it doesn't belong and take a seat.
Hey, what's the matter with him?
Oh, he's jealous of people who can eat whatever they want and still look good.
Welcome home, Mr. Benny. I came right away as soon as I heard. Heard what? To come over right away? I didn't know you missed me so much. I was only gone a week, Dennis. There wasn't enough time to miss you. Boy, build a fella up and then tear him down. Dennis, this isn't anything like that. Has anyone ever built you up then torn you down? No. Then you wouldn't know what it's like, would you? Oh, cut that out and take a seat. That's a good idea. We need more time apart so you can really appreciate me. Oh, just sit already. Mother says it's not good to be in a one-sided relationship. Dennis, this isn't anything like that. Have you ever been in a one-sided... Cut that out! And take a seat. And what's up, Jack? I'll explain everything in a minute, Mel. You know, the missus and me was in the middle of playing a little game. Poker? I was just about to when Rochester called. Take a seat. This isn't going to take too long, is it? I want to get back home. Things were going better than the last time we played cards. Oh, is that so? Yeah. The last time the missus wanted to play cards, she beat the pants off me. Oh? Turned out she just wanted to do the wash. I see. What did you do? I folded. That's the silliest thing I ever heard. What can I do? I only had one pair. I take that back. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Will you just take a seat?
Hiya, Jackson. Harris is here. We can start your welcome home party.
Phil, this isn't a welcome home party.
Is it someone's birthday?
No.
An anniversary?
No.
But we just got to celebrate something.
We do? Why? Because Phil brought a bottle, didn't you?
Hey, that was a lucky guess.
So what's that you got in the paper bag, Phil?
Champagne, Jackson. I'll pop it open.
Not now, Phil. This isn't a party. Have a seat.
Oh, all right. You let me know when. Just say the word. Hello. Is anybody home?
Oh, it's you. Come on in, Frank.
I didn't know you were throwing a welcome home party. I'll pop open the champagne.
Not now, Phil. Frank, I'm not throwing a party.
Then this better be good. I was at home cooking recipes from my French cuisine class.
Oh, you were?
Yes. I was about to have frog's legs.
About to? I thought you always walked that way. Now listen, everyone. I suppose you're all wondering why I asked you here.
Can we get this over with fast, Jack? I'm hungry.
Don, you can't possibly be hungry.
You don't understand. You're looking at a man who's in between meals.
Yeah, Jack, can you make it quick?
I just want to find out all you know.
You see, Mel? That shouldn't take you very long.
No, about what?
Someone in this room has committed an atrocity.
What are you talking about, Jack?
An outright crime.
Well, that sounds serious.
You bet it is, Don. What happened? I suppose you'd all like me to tell you the sordid details, huh?
Yes, but could you drag it out longer? I want to make sure my entire night's completely wasted.
That ought to ring the bell with you, Phil.
And until I find out who it is, no one leaves.
Okay, boss, you got me. I did it.
Rochester, this is no time to kid around. I know it's not you.
Well, sooner or later you're gonna blame me anyway, so I figured I'd save us the time.
What's he talking about, Jack?
Come into my bedroom. I want to show you something.
No, I'm not falling for that old trick.
Mary, I want everyone to come into my bedroom.
So it is some kind of a party. I'll pop the champagne.
Not now, Phil. Everybody, take a look. See? Isn't this just the worst abomination you've ever seen?
Holy cow, it's disturbing.
Isn't it, though?
The way the eyes follow you. Hey, ain't that a picture of you, Jack?
Not that. That's the cover of July's Radio Stars magazine. They put my picture on the cover, and it came out so nice, I had it framed and put it up over my bed. By the way, what do you think of the resemblance?
Scary.
Yes, isn't it? The way the artist captured my essence has a striking impact.
So did Mount Vesuvius on Pompeii.
He even got all those little crow's feet around your eyes.
Those are creases on the paper. I don't like the look it gives me following me around the room.
I don't like the look it gave me when I entered the room.
Enough about my picture. Look it. I brought you all in here to see my violin.
Where? I don't see no violin.
Over there, by the window. You see that big heap?
Yes, but that's no way to talk about Don.
I'm not talking about Don. I'm talking about that big pile of rubble on the floor. Look at it. It's smashed.
Don, would you mind stepping aside so we have a clear view of the rest of the room?
You see? That's a $25,000 Stradivarius.
Not anymore, it ain't.
Oh, quiet. It was an antique.
It was?
He should know. It takes one to know one.
It was made in 1729.
Oh, so you've had it since you was a kid.
That was no ordinary violin. It was fashioned by the finest craftsmen of all time to produce transcendent notes that shimmer magically like the voice of angels.
It's a shame then you played it. All right, it's a terrible tragedy, but accidents happen. What's this got to do with any of us?
This was no accident.
Jack, you mean somebody deliberately destroyed your violin? Maybe it was a disgruntled neighbor fed up listening to you practice.
No, the neighbors love when I play the violin.
That's a strange definition of love.
It's an even stranger definition of play the violin.
Jack, are you saying you think it was one of us?
Well, I hate to accuse anyone, but who else could it be? I can't think of one single person who...
Arturo Toscanini, Isaac Stern, Yasha Heifetz.
Stop that!
The entire Los Angeles Philharmonic.
I said stop that!
I was only trying to jog your memory.
Well, it wasn't me, Jackson. Out of everyone here, I have the least motivation. That's true on so many levels. Jack, I'm sure we're all innocent, and I'll bet every one of us is more than willing to give you any information you need that helps you get to the bottom of this. As soon as possible, so we can all go home!
All right. I just need you all to be honest with me.
I don't think you're funny, Mr. Benny.
Feeling a little defensive, Dennis?
No, I don't think you're funny. You asked us to be honest with you. Come to think of it, I read in the news there's been a rash of burglaries in the area. The thief targets celebrities' homes. He breaks in, finds the single most valuable item in the house, like jewelry or artwork, something expensive like that, and takes off with it. It makes it so it's hard to catch him because he works that fast.
I remember reading something about that in Luella Parsons' column. He's called the burglar to the stars.
I don't know about everyone else, but I was pretty sure I didn't do it.
Oh, you're right, Dennis. Here I was thinking it was one of you, when all along it was probably the burglar to the stars. Gee, isn't that wonderful?
That your friends are innocent? Of course that's wonderful.
I meant how the burglar considers me right up there in the echelon of Hollywood stars. Gee!
Now will you unlock the door and let us out?
Yes, I feel terrible that...
Though there's no sign of a break-in, so who can blame you for thinking it was an inside job?
I feel terrible that one of you stabbed me in the back like this. No one leaves until I find out who did it.
Oh, look who's back. Detective Perot.
Perot? He reminds me more of Nancy Drew.
I suppose I'm the chief suspect. You all probably know I came by the house every day while Jack and Rochester were away. It ain't unusual that you feel the need to confess, Mary. I was reading in Popular Psychology magazine the other day about how having a guilty conscience can make a person do that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it said it eases their burden.
No, I meant it's interesting that you were reading anything educational.
Mary, how could you?
Oh, stop, Jack. I didn't do it. Yes, true. Every morning I stopped by, but that was to put the LA Times at your door, along with the latest copy of Time or Life or National Geographic.
You did?
That's right. Then I'd come back in the afternoon after the mailman came to bring in the mail, along with the paper and magazines. But that was all to make it look like the house was inhabited.
But Mary, I don't subscribe to the LA Times or Time or Life or National Geographic, so why'd you go to the trouble of adding them to the pile?
I wanted your neighbors to think you're well-read.
I'll have you know I keep up with current events just fine.
Jack, you can't get all your news from Luella Parsons.
I don't. There's also...
And Hedda Hopper doesn't count either.
Wait a minute. How did you get into the house?
You keep a spare key hidden under the potted plant, or did you forget?
Don't be silly. Of course I didn't forget. The potted plant by the steps.
That's right.
It's the spare key under it I forgot.
I can't let Mary take the blame, Jack. I was passing by and saw Dennis coming out of the house.
That's a lie.
Oh, it is it?
Yes, you couldn't have seen me.
Why not?
Because I waited until you weren't looking to sneak out of the house. And what were you doing in my house, Dennis?
I was doing you a favor because that's what good friends do, even if they're not appreciated.
Oh, will you stop that? Look, I apologize, all right? So what were you doing in my house?
Mother says not to toot your own horn, but I guess I have to.
Yes, please, toot.
I stop by every day to feed the plants and water the cat.
Dennis, don't you mean you stopped by every day to water the plants and feed the cat?
No, I'm pretty sure I fed the plants and watered the cat. Except I couldn't find your cat. I went all through the house saying, "Here, kitty, kitty."
Dennis.
I even tried making squeaky mouse noises to lure the cat out.
Dennis.
Like this.
Eek, 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 eek. Dennis, I don't have a cat.
Oh, then that worked out okay, didn't it?
Because I don't have a cat?
Because I forgot to bring a watering can.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Dennis, there's no such thing as watering a cat.
Boy, set out to do a friend a favor and look at the attitude you get.
Oh, never mind.
I get less appreciation than the horn blows at midnight.
Dennis, this isn't like that.
Have you ever gotten underappreciated for the horn blows at midnight?
No, wait a minute. I have! Gee, I'm sorry, kid. I didn't know you felt that bad.
Maybe now you'll learn to better appreciate the simple things in life.
Yes, I will.
And you can start with me.
Well, that sounds about right. Dennis, how did you get into my house?
I used the spare key under the potted plant. But I wasn't the only person to come by. Mr. Blank told me he'd stop in too.
Mel, you were here as well?
Yeah, when Dennis told me the reason he was stopping by, well, someone had to come to towel dry the cat.
But I don't have a cat.
Yeah, now you tell me.
Where was you when I was here playing Flamingo Hotel Cabana Boy?
Which reminds me, when I was here, I didn't see no violin smashed on the floor.
Wait a minute. Didn't Don say he was passing by?
Yes, he did. What about that, Don? What were you doing passing by?
Oh, this is getting good.
Yes, I should have brought lay popcorn. It was completely innocent, Jack. Yes, I was here, but that's because I was passing by on the way to the grocery store to pick up a box of grape nuts. I saw Dennis leaving, and me being your dutiful employee and good friend, I thought I'd make sure everything was okay.
And how did you get into the house?
The spare key under the potted plant.
Why do I even bother having a door?
Everything checked out, and so I locked up your house and headed on to the store to pick up a box of grape nuts. Honest. And there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. You can't tell if that's an insult or not, can you, Doc?
Hang on a second. You expect us to believe you passed by out of your way just to pick up a box of grape nuts?
Certainly. Why, who can resist the crisp, toasty brown grape nuts flakes? Yes, sir, it's one of the most nourishing foods you can serve. In every bowlful of multi-rich grape nuts flakes, you get a goodly amount of the right nourishment. Who needs protein, vegetables, and essential vitamins? So, ladies and gentlemen, drive out of your way if it's the only way you can enjoy those sweet as a nut, toasty brown flakes available now in a 12-ounce economy size tomorrow at breakfast.
Are you done with your commercial, Don?
Oh, you know me, Jack. Never. So yes, I'm guilty of stopping by, but no, I'm not guilty about breaking your violin. But you can count me guilty on all counts for wanting grape nuts. So folks, remember, ask your grocer for grape nuts flakes. They're nutritious and delicious. Now I'm done. And if you ask me, I think it must have been Phil. You gotta be kidding. Little old innocent me? How could you? Boy, that makes me see red.
No, your eyes are bloodshot.
From the looks of the evidence, I'd say it's Mr. Harris, too.
What do you mean, evidence?
Mr. Benny said he found it smashed on the floor, and that matches your description. I object.
On what grounds?
My grounds.
Your grounds?
That's right. If I'm going to pass out anywhere, it's going to be on my grounds, not yours. I have some integrity, you know.
I just have to say, in this day and age, it's nice to see a man with convictions.
Yeah, convictions are something guilty men have plenty of.
Oh, come on, Jackson. What would I be doing with a violin? I'm no classical musician.
That's never stopped Jack.
I can't even play the darn thing.
Again.
Oh, shut up! I'll have you know they told Beethoven not to play when he went deaf.
But did he listen?
No, he did not. And good thing, too, because he went on to create his greatest masterpieces after that.
Am I the only one here missing how exactly this comparison is supposed to work?
Nope, the line phone's right behind me.
Obviously, that Beethoven was able to create beautiful music despite his inability to distinguish one note from another. And Jack's hopeful some of that rubs off on him. One can only hope.
Oh, it ain't just one.
Mr. Benny, have you forgotten something?
What's that, Dennis?
We're almost through the show and I haven't sung a song yet.
Dennis, this isn't the kind of episode where we'd include his song.
So underappreciated.
All right, okay. What song did you want to sing?
It's that song, That's an Irish Lullaby.
And what's it called?
It's called That's an Irish Lullaby. You know, Tura Lura.
Look it. The only singing I want to hear is from the person who wrecked my violin. That's a $25,000 Stradivarius.
Not anymore, it ain't.
Cut that out.
Can we go now, Jack?
What's your rush, Mary?
Yeah, why are you in such a hurry to go?
Okay, I might as well tell you. When I was bringing in the paper, I saw the headline about the burglar to the stars. Then I thought of Jack's violin. You know how he keeps it in a corner of the bedroom?
I keep it there so I can play a little before bedtime. It helps put me to sleep.
It has the opposite effect on me. I meant that in a good way.
Well, I thought if a burglar did break in, Jack's violin's right out there for the taking, so I wanted to move it to a more secure location.
Mr. Benny's vault?
No, someplace secure, but less complicated to get into. So I called Fort Knox. But they said they don't take violins.
Oh, so then what did you do?
I decided to take it home with me. But when I opened the front door, I saw a suspicious car crawl by real slow.
That was probably Phil driving himself home from an all-night bender.
What night was that?
Pick any one. They all blur together after a while, don't they?
Yes, that's why I asked what night it was.
It wasn't Phil's car. This was a convertible. It didn't have the top on, so I could see the driver looking right at Jack's house. Very strange.
Very strange. I think she's implicating you, Frank.
No, Mel, she's implicating you. She said there was nothing on top.
He looked like some tough palooka casing the joint.
Ooh, thank you for that All Points Bulletin, Machine Gun Mary.
But then what did you do?
What could I do? I shut the door as fast as I could and tried to find a good place in the house to hide the violin.
Did you find a good hiding spot for it, Miss Livingston?
Well, if you can call under the bed a good spot.
Well, I've sure woke up in worse.
Miss Livingston, so you're the one who put it there?
Wait a minute. Dennis, you know something about this?
Well, when I was looking for your cat...
For the last time, I don't have a cat.
And if you appreciated friends like me, you would have let me know something that important before you went away.
I apologized already.
Go on, Dennis. You said when you were looking for the cat?
Well, under the bed is one of the places I looked.
So you saw my violin there.
I think I just indicated that I did. Try and keep up, Mr. Benny.
Can I go home now, Jack? I still haven't had my dessert.
No, not before I find out who did this. Jack, I think we can safely rule Don out as a suspect.
He's right, Jack. I could never stoop so low as to take your violin from under the bed. Well, I believe you.
You do?
Yes, just from the sheer circumference of the evidence.
So, Dennis, you're going to come clean and finally tell me what happened. Well, it's high time.
It is? I'll pop the champagne.
Not now, Phil! Dennis, then what did you do?
I put it on top of the bed.
My violin?
No, the cat you don't have.
Cut that out! How many times do I have to apologize? Gee, kid, do I have to keep being the bigger man here? You can't, not if Don weighs in on it.
So that's why the violin was on top of the bed.
Wait a minute, Frank, you saw my violin on top of the bed?
Yes, I thought it looked odd.
You mean being you saw my violin on top of the bed instead of being in its usual place?
No, being how I never saw the violin as being the right instrument for you.
Oh, is that so?
Yes!
What instrument do you think I'm better suited for? Would you care to enlighten me, oh Ludwig von Smarty Pants?
Ooh, would I? I see you more as an accordion player.
Mind if I ask why?
Ooh, I'd be delighted. Because you're the type of person who'd squeeze every note you can out of it.
Why, you... No, wait, you're probably right about that.
Anywho, I moved your precious violin back to its usual spot in the corner.
You did? Say, fellas, do you know what that means?
No, what?
It means Mr. Benny's violin got around more in the last week than I did. And I'll bet it had a better time, too.
Jack, it's midnight. Can't we go home now? Please!
Why, Don, I don't think I've ever seen you cry before. Take my handkerchief, you're getting tears all over your chins. And stop rushing me. I'm still trying to solve this case.
Rush you? The snails in my escargot à la bourguignon puff pastry moved faster.
Wait a minute. I don't know much about French cooking, but wouldn't you use canned snails?
They come in cans? Mr. Benny, I've got to go. I have to get up tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Why so early?
Because that's when my alarm clock goes off.
But why do you have to get up at 6 a.m.?
Because I have to turn off my alarm clock.
Yes, but why 6 a.m.?
Because that's when it goes off.
I get that, but why at 6?
Because I have to turn it off. Are you listening to anything I said?
Dennis, what if you just don't set your alarm clock?
Oh, but I don't set my alarm clock.
You don't?
I don't need to. It goes off at 6 all by itself, whether it's set or not.
Dennis.
And if I don't turn it off, it'll wake Mother.
Dennis, if your alarm clock's broken, why don't you just get a new one?
Oh, it's not broken.
Wait a minute. It's not?
No, it works perfectly fine the other 23 hours.
I'll tell you what's alarming, Jackson. If I get to that bar late, I'll miss last call. Talk about a real crime.
Oh, sure, Phil. What kind of crime is that?
Attempted imbibery.
Gee, really? You can face charges for that?
On second thought, that's okay with me.
Why is that?
Because it means I get to stand before the bar.
Yes, Phil, that's your inalienable right.
I'm presumed innocent until proven guilty, too, ain't I?
You said it, brother.
And ain't I entitled to be judged by a jury of my peers?
It's the American way.
I also have the right to be swiftly served justice, don't I?
Yes, you do.
My right to be swiftly served justice as soon as I tell the bartender what I'm having.
And that concludes tonight's civics lesson. Tune in tomorrow when Phil Harris will read from George Washington's personal papers a document titled My Favorite Taverns, or George Washington Sipped Here. Now look it, all of you. I want to go through this one more time.
But Jack,
here we go again.
come on.
Jack, we've gone through this all night long, and there still isn't a shred of evidence any of us did what you allege we did, and we've had it.
All right, let's suppose it your way. Let's suppose no one here is guilty. Let's suppose this is all the work of the burglar to the stars.
Yes, please, suppose away.
There's no sign of a break-in, so tell me, Miss Marple, how could the burglar have possibly got in,
Jack, you're back. Thank goodness. I saw the lights on and people milling about through the curtains and thought some unsavory characters found that key of yours under the potted plant.
And then there were none.
Ronnie, these unsavory characters are my friends.
Ah, so they are.
We were just throwing a little party, that's all.
I'll pop the champagne.
Not now, Phil!
Well, then I'm relieved to see it's only your usual Friday night debauchery. Carry on. Good night, all.
But if the burglar got in and broke the violin, why didn't he take the second most valuable item in the house?
What item is that?
What item is that? Don't be silly. My Radio Stars magazine picture, of course. It's a work of art.
Well, this is just a criminal theory, Jack, but somebody taking your picture...
Ought to be a crime.
Oh, gee, thanks. I don't know what I did to deserve such good friends as you.
Oh, you didn't have to do much of anything. And believe me, you didn't.
Oh, go on. You're making me blush.
Jack, I'm scared I'm never going to ever have dessert again. Say, you wouldn't happen to have any Jell-O, would you? Because unlike tonight's story, it's no mystery. The grand, refreshing flavors will tempt you to be on the lookout for public ecstasy number 1, Jell-O. So steal away to your neighborhood grocer and get away with packages in every delicious flavor. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and before you can say, guilty as charged, Your Honor, you'll be doing life serving lime.
And that was Don Wilson serving those consecutive sentences from Jell-O.
Jack, everyone, come in here.
What is it? Look. Look at what? Are you going to crack wise again about how the eyes follow you around the room?
Yeah, that's certainly perturbing, but no. See what I'm pointing at?
You mean that sad pile of rubble, all that's left of my beloved Stradivarius?
Yeah, why else you think I've been pointing at it all this time? Rub it in, why don't you? All right, you're all annoyed at me, I get it. No, Jack, you don't understand.
I see what Mel's pointing at, Jack. That sad pile of rubble isn't your Stradivarius.
Yeah, not anymore it ain't.
No, and Dennis is right. It's not funny when you say it. Jack, take a closer look at the rubble.
See, if this was your Stradivarius, then it would have an inscription on it saying Antonius Stradivarius, le anno 1729. I read that in Popular Latin magazine.
See, Jack, there's no inscription on any of the pieces.
So that means the burglar must have grabbed that cheap violin you use for gags by mistake instead of your genuine Stradivarius.
This may sound far-fetched, but I'll bet what happened next was the burglar turned to leave, saw Jack's picture, and the sudden shock of seeing Jack's eyes following him had him bolt out of here scared witless, dropping the violin as he fled in terror.
And what part was far-fetched? Then that's not my $25,000 Stradivarius?
Not anymore, it ain't.
Yippee! But wait, then where is my violin?
Okay. Right before we left for vacation, because of all the celebrity burglaries going on, I took the most valuable item in the house to keep it safe.
You took my violin?
Uh-huh. Lucky for you, I didn't think much of your picture.
Good thinking, Rochester. But why didn't you say something?
I did. Remember? At the beginning tonight, I said I took it.
I thought you were putting me on. Why didn't you tell me the whole story?
Well, the way you were going on about it made it way more entertaining to listen to than anything on the radio tonight.
So where's my Stradivarius now?
It's in the trunk. Want me to retrieve it, boss?
You left it out in the Maxwell. Yes, bring it inside. I don't want to risk any more chances of something happening to it.
Sure thing, right away.
And be extra careful handling it.
You bet.
Gee, this calls for a celebration. Now, Phil, now you can pop open the champagne.
Huh? Oh, sure.
Mary, Dennis, bring some glasses from the kitchen, would you?
Okay, Jack.
Mr. Benny.
Boy, am I relieved when I think how close I came to losing my prized possession.
Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to spill the old bubbly, believe me.
I believe you.
I'll lap it up.
Phil, have some dignity.
I mean with rags. Where do you keep them?
Rags, in the kitchen, under the sink.
I'll be right back.
Here it is, boss.
Rochester.
Your Stradivarius. Oh!
My $25,000 Stradivarius.
Not anymore.
Oh, shut up!